Okay, Coach Frost is here, so we'll get started. Let's start with Sean Callahan, Husker Online.
Coach, I was curious with classes out, what can you guys do with this extra time? You'll have 3 full weeks here at least where you don't have to worry about classes anymore. What are you guys doing with the team maybe that you couldn't do before?
We're still limited to hours we can spend with them per day, but if we can get a little extra time here and there, it might help.
And I wanted to ask you about Marcus Fleming. He didn't travel out with you guys. What is his status with the program right now?
Yeah, Marcus, we wish him the best. He's not going to be on the team anymore. So we'll move on and feel good about that position where it is.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
Hey, Scott. It was interesting to hear Adrian today talk a little bit about some of the challenges of coaching kids today and hear his thoughts on some of the conversations about players from your era, when they're brought up, when you bring them up, when they come in. And I know that you brought some of those guys in to visit with the team at times, maybe not this year. But what's your thoughts on when those guys talk to your players, or when you talk to your players about, times 20, 25 years ago? What are your thoughts about how much of that gets through, the message gets through, the stuff that those guys say and the way that they played the game gets through to players today?
I don't know. We haven't had hardly anybody talk to the team all year. It's just been a strange year. It's been hard on our team. It's hard to complain because there's people out there losing businesses and losing salaries and fighting through COVID, and it's certainly affected us. I think it's affected some of our young players a little bit too. Getting on campus and seeing students everywhere and being able to go out in Lincoln and see Memorial Stadium full. That's certainly a benefit for us when we bring kids to Lincoln, and we haven't been able to do that. We haven't been able to have people come speak to the team. We didn't get to spend as much time around them this summer. But I think it's a different era. I think kids are a little different these days, but there's no reason you can't motivate them to be modeled after something that obviously worked for a long time.
Thanks.
Parker Gabriel, Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey Scott, when you went back and watched the film, did you find anything mechanical as it relates to Cam and the snapping? And I'm wondering, is there any, even in the short term, is there any consideration about maybe him playing a different position, or do you feel good about where he's at as a center going forward?
No, we need to get it fixed. So we're gonna get as much help, as many ideas as we can to get it fixed. He's too good a player not to have on the field. He's too good a player to even consider moving him out of that role or moving him somewhere else. But we can't continue the way we're going. We did a study this week, and we've scored on our drives where we don't have a penalty, a bad snap, or a turnover. We've scored on over 90% of those drives, and we've just had far too many. The snaps last week hurt us. 4 or 5 of those, when you're only getting 63 plays in a game, is about 10% of your offensive snaps, and it puts us behind the 8 ball, puts us in 3rd and longs. Cam cares as much as anyone on the team, so he wants to get it fixed. And we'll do whatever we have to make sure that we're getting it better.
Maybe this is too much of an X's and O's question, but what about his skill set in particular makes him so valuable in the middle of an offense?
He's smart, he's extremely athletic, and he's exceptionally explosive. He's still in some ways learning the position. He didn't play it until last season, but he's got the skill set to be really, really special at that position.
Brian Christopherson, 24/7.
Hey, Scott, I know we ask about the running backs every week, but what is sort of your status right now with like guys like Mills, Tompkins, Sevion, everybody? Kind of where do you sit?
Savion won't be available. We're crossing our fingers for everybody else at this point.
How did you feel Ramir did when he got some work there late?
I thought he did really well. We've been waiting for Ramir to kind of attack everything. I thought he took advantage of his opportunities. It was good to see him get in the end zone. That's a position where all we have really available to us with Mills down as freshmen, and I think those guys have played pretty well considering their age and level of experience, and Coach Hell's done a good job.
Sam McEwen, Omaha World Herald.
Hey, with Mills, he's still on the team, right? Like he didn't opt out or anything like that.
No, Mills just got nicked up, Sam.
So I wanted to add to the question about just I don't know, the culture piece, because Adrian was so thoughtful about it, and I think one of the things he said is you guys want to kind of have a tough love culture, but at the same time, you need to be able to blend some specific principles that are tailored to this generation. I'm sure you've noticed that too. How challenging has that been for you guys to kind of build it that way? And are you as far along as you'd hoped you'd be in reaching some of those kids? I know you've had some players leave, 4 of them, I think, leave 5 maybe, leave the program here in the first, in 9 months since they arrived. So how do you feel like you guys are doing on that piece? And is it about evaluating players and getting the right guys and things like that?
Yeah, I think that's a multiple faceted answer. Kids are a little different now. I don't think there's as much tough love for a lot of kids when they grow up. Our program is going to be about love first, and the toughness has to be built in along with that. That's how you reach players today, in my opinion. If they know you care about them, then they'll and genuinely care about them, then they'll do about anything for you. And once you develop that connection through experiences with people, then it's your job as a coach and sometimes kind of as a second parent to teach them how to be tough, teach them how to be resilient, teach them how to be detailed and do all the little things right. That takes a while, particularly when you're starting off with new kids. And I think our staff does a great job of that. Again, this year we're playing a lot of young kids that haven't maybe learned some of those lessons as many times as the old ones. And the culture piece, I mentioned it after the game. It's gotten better and better and better. But it's still got to come from the locker room a little bit, and we're trying to train that, and hopefully we'll get some more time around the young guys. As far as departures and things like that, first of all, we have to make sure that we're recruiting the right kids, not just the right athletes. We have to make sure that we're going to recruit the type of kid that's going to flourish in Nebraska. And I think certain kids are going to come here and assimilate and love it. Maybe there's a few others that wouldn't. I went somewhere else and it didn't fit me, so that's not unusual. This has been a tough year too, like I said. Kids can't go to the mall right now. They can't be around other students. I compliment our players for being really disciplined. We haven't had COVID issues, so they've been doing things the right way. And one of the biggest selling points of this place is playing in front of a sea of red, and we haven't even had an opportunity to do that. So it's been a tough year, but it starts with us making sure we get the right kids. Sam, I also think in this day and age, there's a little more impatience. I was fairly highly ranked guy coming out of high school. I didn't play till my 4th year of college, and that's not unusual. Still worked out pretty well. But a lot of kids now, if it's not working immediately, get impatient, and we try to teach our guys patience as far as that, and resilience as far as that goes too.
Steve Sipple, Journal-Star.
Just a quick follow to that, Scott. You've mentioned Grant and Jason before? Could they have led now like they did in the 90s?
There's probably a few things they did that they couldn't do nowadays, but it's just the accountability. When you have a time with a team and you built the culture you want, we call them culture keepers, where they come in as young players and they learn how it's supposed to be done, what the expectations are, how to hold other people accountable to that. Then those young players become the old players that not only hold the team to those standards, but teach the young guys how to do that as well. And when you're building that, the first thing you have to do is get the veterans right, and then the veterans can start teaching the young guys, and then the young guys learn it and start teaching, and so on and so on. And we kind of started from square one with that, and we've come a long way, but we still can button it up a little more and make sure that the leaders on our team aren't allowing anything to happen that's counterproductive to what we're trying to get done.
What is one thing you really liked about Adrian's performance, and one thing that you would tell him he's got to do better next time?
I thought he was efficient and he didn't turn the ball over. Thought he ran hard when he had a chance to. Made a couple throws downfield. There's still maybe a couple simple things that we could have done a little better. His eyes a couple times, but I thought returning to play, he did a good job, and Luke was really efficient on his snaps too. Again, in that game set, that's a tough team. That's the kind of game we're going to have to win to beat a good team like that. And when we have our opportunities, we just can't get the untimely holding penalty. That's the downside. The good side is we only had, I think, 4 penalties. Just came at the wrong time. And you can't fumble a punt when you're going to get great field position to try to go win. And Cam Taylor is one of our best players. He's not going to drop very many, but it's just untimely. And we certainly can't miss a guy on a protection when we're going to win. And the guy that missed that's one of our best players. So those are all fixable things that happen. That's good. Like I said, the intensity and the approach to the game was the best I felt. So we need to continue to do that and not have those mistakes that cost us.
Thank you, Scott.
Evan Bland, World Herald.
Follow up to the running back conversation. I guess I'm just curious, to what do you kind of attribute just the injuries that have hounded that group throughout this season, and maybe how has the learning curve at that position maybe helped to start, develop, or set up for 2021?
The injury thing, I don't know. Mills got rolled up on a little bit. Marvin got hit in the head, and the other kid's not available for health reasons right now. So I don't think you can point to anything other than football on that. But we knew we needed to get a lot of young guys ready because we were going in with one veteran with experience. And like I said, I think Coach Held's done a good job getting a lot of guys capable of going in.
Kevin Suits, KOLN.
Scott, beyond the numbers, how do you describe the progress your defense has made throughout the course of this season? It seems like they are getting better week in and week out.
Yeah, I agree. We certainly didn't play well 2 weeks ago on that side of the ball. But every other game this year, I've been really happy with how they battled, how physical they played. Did a really good job against the run Friday. There's been a couple big plays a game that we got to get ironed out and fixed when we miss a gap or miss one little assignment. But overall, we're tackling a lot better. I think we're playing more physical at the line of scrimmage. We can certainly help the defense out by fixing special teams and field position for them. Kind of like offense with clean drives versus drives with mistakes. When opponents are starting inside the 25, we're stopping people at a really good rate. When we give them good field position, we're not doing as well. So that's not miraculous. That's not something that doesn't happen to everybody in football, but we can certainly help the defense out that way too.
Andy Kendi, KETV.
It's a strange year. You guys are playing first week of December, and you still got 2, maybe 3 games left. How did you see the start of this week as compared to last week, compared to the Illinois week? And is it a challenge to keep kids engaged at 1 and 4, knowing what you have in front of you?
I don't think I'm going to have a problem with this team keeping them engaged. This team's hungry. This team approached last week really well, approached today really well. These guys want to get this right, and they're going to give us everything they have to get it right. We hope we still have 3 games, 3 opportunities. We need it as a football team. We're young in a lot of places. We didn't get bowl practice last year. We didn't get spring ball. We had a lot of non-padded practices, a ton of non-padded practices, but very few real fall camp type of practices. So we need opportunities to practice. We need opportunities to play games to really get the improvement we need. And you can feel it coming. You can feel the young talent and the veteran talent on our team. And I think the guys know that they're close and they want more opportunities.
Get to 2 or 3 more here. Sam McEwen.
Hey, Scott, did you think about calling a timeout at the end of the third quarter when Iowa let the clock run out and wanted to kick that field goal with the wind?
Yeah, we talked about it, Sam, and I was kind of looking up, and the wind was swirling. I couldn't really tell which way it was helping, which way it was hurting, and I asked our special teams guys, and we talked about it, but I also knew that I probably might need the timeouts in my back pocket in that game too, so we decided not to use it.
As it turned out, I know that the last drive didn't work the way you hoped, but you did have a timeout left. As you think about just, how you guys strategized it, were you pleased with the fact that if you had needed that timeout, you would have had it since you had to score a touchdown?
Yeah, I thought about using it on first down on the series before, waited and used it on second. That kept one in the pocket. We had plenty of time, so we were managing that. In fact, we had, I think, 1:30 left on that last play, so we actually had time to just run our offense. Hindsight's always 20/20, so you didn't know you were going to miss protection and have that happen, but certainly could have been able to run the ball at that point too and take a little pressure off our offensive line. So I think the time management worked well, and we gave ourselves an opportunity. We just didn't capitalize.
Thank you.
Offerson.
Hey, Scott, how do you work the blend of, recruiting up to early signing day here while also playing games in sort of this unusual circumstance? And how do you feel about where you're at right now heading to the stretch of recruiting?
Yeah, I feel good. I really like the group that we think we have coming in. I think it's going to be another addition, really strong addition, really strong in certain areas that we need help on the football team, and we got to keep piling these recruiting classes up. I think just because we weren't able to travel as much, the recruiting class can be a little more regional to our area, which I think could be a benefit. And we'll do everything we can to stay on top of that while we're trying to get a team ready to play.
Even though you'd like a couple more wins, do you sense the recruits you're talking to see what you're seeing as far as the optimism about where things are trending?
Yeah, when we talk to them, I think they see it until they read some of the articles that you guys write, and then they might. No, but if you watch our team, I love how hard we're playing. I love the talent we have on the team, and we've been so close. And our kids are tired of losing close games. So I think they're committed to doing whatever little things they have to do to make sure that we don't make the mistakes to beat ourselves in those games.
Thank you.
And finishing up, back to Parker Gabriel.
Scott, I know there's not much, nothing you can control about what's going on at other schools, but there's more teams this week that have, issues with COVID than there have been at any point, I think, during the season, at least that we know about. Do you have extra motivation this week, or do you worry about having 3 more opportunities to play? And is that something that you talk to your guys about at all, that in a weird year, you don't even know if, this weekend or next weekend or whatever, may or may not happen?
Yeah, I'm worried about the last 3 games. Absolutely. I was worried coming off Thanksgiving with guys going home and coming back, what would happen. Our guys have done a really good job with that. We just haven't had too many issues throughout the season. It's no secret that I think around here we wish we could have started on time and played a normal season, so maybe we had some chances to make up any games that we missed. But I do see it rise around the country, and that's a bigger deal than football. The health and safety of everyone is a bigger deal than football, and I certainly hope we don't lose any games, but I think it's a possibility. Like I said, I think our team needs needs games. We need practice. We need all those opportunities to continue to get better day by day. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that we're able to finish this thing.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.